The Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge launched last spring running Android 6.0 Marshmallow, and at the time it was the latest version of Google's OS. Samsung, as usual, had its own ideas on what the interface should look like, which is pretty far from stock Android. But despite the visual modifications, things were mostly carried over from the Galaxy S6's Lollipop era. Sure, the notification shade changed colors and the icons got rounded corners, but the overall feel was the same. Game Launcher and the always-on display were the most obvious new features, but the menu system was identical, and upgrading to the new flagship required zero getting used to. Now in comes Android 7.0 Nougat. Even if you don't know what's going on under the hood, you'll certainly notice Samsung's thoroughly revamped Grace UX. It's new to the S7, but we've already seen it on the ill-fated Note 7 and the new A series, where it was layered over Marshmallow. The first change is that the Quick Toggles area is entirely new. You may find rearranging the icons somewhat fiddly on occasion. Samsung introduced multi-window a few generations of Galaxy Notes back, and it's now available natively in Nougat. That hasn't made it essentially any different on the S7 Edge, which had it from day one. You can still resize the two windows and swap them, as well as shrink the current one to a windowed view on top of the rest of the interface. The Edge features have had a visual makeover to go with the Grace aesthetic, and Samsung has also added a few extra panes. But you'll feel right at home after the update. That is, if you are using the Edge features at all in the first place. The display settings now let you choose a resolution at which the interface is rendered, and that's set to Full HD by default, but you can also choose the native Quad HD or 720p as well. The camera app has been redesigned to make better use of swipe gestures. A flick to the left gives you access to filters, with sliders to adjust their intensities, and a swipe to the right takes you to the mode selector, where you can go into a proper pro mode. You get control over ISO, shutter speed, exposure compensation, and white balance, and the manual focus even enlarges the center portion of the frame so you can better judge focus. Oh, and a downward swipe switches between rear and front camera. About time, Samsung. About time. For more on Samsung's Grace UX'd Nougat on the Galaxy S7 Edge, be sure to check out our written review at gsmarena.com.